Namaste. We'll give it some time for everybody to take a seat. It is a beautiful day here. I hope it's a beautiful day where you are. Always a blessed thing when the sun shines. As I've been reminding everyone, once you choose to tune in, give yourself some time to take a seat. Hey, Judith. Give yourself some time to take a seat. Hey, Patrick. Checking in with how you feel today. I've been reminding everybody, check in such a way that you really are attentive to the response, that you're really offering that genuine question to yourself. How are you today? As if I was asking you, right? Heart explosions, yay. So, take some time to do just that before we get started. Ask yourself how you are and listen to your response and see if you might create a supportive environment for yourself based on your response. Yeah, it is a beautiful day. And yes, please feel free to chat amongst the group. This collective, this community of humans. Share your hearts, share your minds with each other if you feel moved to do so. Right? Strange, I missed you guys yesterday. I really did. I aspire to live a life that doesn't involve too much attachment, but we get used to each other, we get used to routine and time, and I guess I just felt, it definitely hit me intuitively. It wasn't me thinking about it, it just came to me where, well, we're not as isolated as we were in the first stages. Hey Liz, hey Bradshaw, nice to see you. We're not as isolated as we were in the beginning, some 3 months back. So I felt like there was a real need for us to be together every single day. And, now a lot of us are spending a little bit more outside and perhaps starting to reconnect with friends that way, and some even going back to work. So I didn't feel like the need was quite as desperate and as dire for us to be together every day, because we were each other's family and community, and we very much still are. But it seems like every other day is appropriate for now. We'll see. Thank you all for your beautiful birthday messages, and happy birthday to Liz. We share the same day. How cool is that? So thank you very much for your love, for your acknowledgement. I'm a very private person. So this whole Facebook social media thing is quite new for me. I've been very content seeing my peeps in my space and not really getting out there by way of social media in the past. So this has been an extraordinary journey, and to share so much with you guys as fellow humans. It's really been a privilege. So thank you for the cards and the letters and the Facebook messages and the phone calls. It's been so nice to talk with people again, right? And I think the phone call has come back into fashion. How cool is that? All right, let's tune in. So this body is a vehicle that receives energy and information, so feel free to move it before you settle into your seat. It helps you become more aware. Breathe in. Namaste. Once again, I feel like I'm getting just so much information these past couple days that I could pick from a dozen things to share with you guys today. It's kind of fun to just toss the marbles of my mind around and just let one fall out. See which one falls out my ear. So as I got here to this beautiful, beautiful space, I glanced over to the window and I was reminded that last year on my birthday I received several orchids from students, and they're still here at the windowsill. A year later, we have some beautiful southern exposure and the light just floods this building. And as I was looking at them, I found it so interesting that I received them all on the same day, but they're all in various stages of growth. I care for them the same day every week. They're in basically the same spot, getting the same amount of sunlight, the same amount of water, the same amount of attention. Yet, isn't it interesting that they are all at various stages of their kind of personal growth? In fact, one of them is, I think, no longer with us. I'm not really sure. But once again, that one was not neglected, right? It was just, it's time, I guess, right? Everything, has a cycle, right? So some are just in full, gorgeous, glorious bloom. Others are, kind of open in their smaller budded shapes, and then there's one that I think is no longer with us. And I do just find it interesting, and there's such knowledge when we stop and pay attention to nature, right? We're so complicated. We're so wired for complication, difficulty. No matter how much we aspire to live simply, we live in a culture and a society that is so packed, jam-packed with information and oversensory withdrawal, oversensory stimulation, etc. So it's very challenging for us to just see things at their base level, and very kind of as a student of nature, if you will, right? As humans, we are students of nature, right? To just stop and look in such a way that we can learn a lesson from what is occurring naturally. And right now, we're fortunate that it's summer, so all we have to do is walk outside our doors and watch a blade of grass as it blows in the wind, or a leaf as it falls from the tree, etc. And there's something to be learned there, right? Or aspiring to kind of step back, pull away from the complications, the stuff that clouds our judgment, the stuff that stunts our growth, the stuff that kind of just locks and traps us in, and really, open to these lessons that are available around us 24/7. And, my lesson for the day, right, because I want to keep learning and growing. Just because I pass information on to you and just because I've been doing this practice for a number of years and consider myself to be a facilitator or a guider, my goodness, I hope I never stop being the student as well. So as I looked at these beautiful orchids, so poised in the great sun, a year into their home base here at Shakti, I just found it so incredibly interesting that they all receive the same attention, the same love, the same care, the same water, the same sun, but they're all at different stages, as are we, everyone in their own time. And I think that that's really, really important for us to remember any day. But especially now as we go into this crazy transition. I don't know what is happening. I've adjusted to quarantine, isolation. I felt, it appeared like everyone was paying attention because there was something quite crucial at stake. And now with summer and us into new phases of, reopening things, bars and restaurants, etc., airplanes in the sky, cars in parking lots, it's like, woo, what is happening? And some are still paying attention and some are not. And this is not a rant, right? I train myself every day in observing with as little judgment as possible. Just what is happening. Just see what is happening. And what appears to be happening is we're in this new phase of it's like it's I want to remind everybody that I don't plan on what I'm going to say before I say it. This is just kind of channeling and offering. I find it far more interesting to be spontaneous, and therefore it's extremely human with all of you as I possibly can, rather than planning something to say and giving you a lesson or teaching you a lesson. So there's this great state of upheaval, we're all aware of that, but now there's this kind of new layer of some are getting back into what was and some are kind of being mindful and holding back, and it's just kind of like a new mess. It's kind of a new mess basically, and we haven't gotten our ground, we haven't gotten our footing on how to approach this yet another kind of new phase of quarantine or being careful and mindful because the virus is still obviously with us. So, this little reminder, everything in its own time, everyone in their own time, could potentially be helpful for each and every one of us. There's no guarantee. The work that we do does not mean it's going to ensure anything for each and every one of us at any given time, right? Once again, I gave those plants all the same water, the same light. Some are in full bloom, others are not. Isn't that interesting? So we must continue to care for oneself. We must continue to care for humanity and mankind, each other. But it doesn't guarantee that we're all going to, grow at the same rate. And it's a nice reminder, especially us as USers, we're always looking for the result. Well, I did the work. When is it going to change for me? I've done the work, right? Work is every day, pay attention, every day, pay attention. And as you do it, hopefully that inspires others to do the same, so that this phase that we've been in for, say, 3-4 months now, it was not time poorly spent, right? It was a cultivation. It was a time to incubate, right? But it doesn't mean we're all gonna hatch at the same time, at the same growth spurt, right? Just keep doing the work, keep checking in with yourself, keep tending to yourself as a human being in crisis. Okay, let's breathe in. couple more like that. Feel free to move your body around. Once again, as I was saying earlier, when we move the body, it like gives us a relationship to our reality. How's the body feel? How's the environment around you feel? Right? It clues you in to this moment. And, this is what we have, right? We have this moment, this beautiful time well spent together as humans, cultivating internal growth together with no end result, no timeline on how good it's going to get or how well we're going to do when we're done, because we're never going to be done, right? Release your hips. Settle the body down. Sense it dropping. Perhaps releasing a layer of tension. Perhaps letting go a few moments of stubbornness or judgment. Anchor through the base of your tailbone, heavy through the tops of your thighs. And you slowly elevate the waist, making space to breathe. And broaden gradually across the collarbone, and making space to breathe. And soften your face. Don't try too hard. Right? If this work is going to be consistent, right? The practice of awareness every day. We mustn't work it too hard because we'll just exhaust ourselves, right? Notice that you're breathing. Become aware that you have breath. Try not to change it or judge it. Just simply notice that you have breath, that you are a living, breathing being. And once again, it's so simple, right? To locate the breath, but the mind is so addicted to complication, it sometimes refuses to go to what is most simple, right? So we have to pacify it. We have to try patiently to approach the breath. And try softening at your belly, your ribs, and your diaphragm. And bringing attention to the underbelly, the area under the navel. Just very slowly and gently sip the breath, noticing the lower pool of the belly, gently puffing. And then just empty that breath, noticing the lower pool of the belly, hollowing. And then refill it slowly. And empty it gradually. Now the breath is the most natural thing, right? It's our hook, it's our link to being natural creatures. Notice how simple it is. And notice how the mind might be prone to something far more complicated to pay attention to right now. So we don't beat ourselves up, we don't judge, we just encourage. Come back to the breath in the lower pool of the belly. And let's free ourselves from the result of this experience, right? There's no guarantee that we're all going to have this monumental growth spurt by the time we're done with these few minutes together, right? There's no guarantee. Let's do the work so that you're taking care of yourself, so that you're nurturing yourself, so that you're attending to yourself right now. That's it. Let's crawl our awareness into the midsection where the diaphragm lives. Notice the expansion of the rib cage every time you breathe in, and the contraction of it every time you breathe out. And let's bring our awareness up into the high lungs. Slowly sipping the breath in so it moves from the lower pool of the belly to the rib cage and up into the lungs. And emptying that breath from the lungs through the midsection to the underbelly. Sitting in observance of this breath as it slowly fills the body on the inhale. And as it gradually empties the body on the exhale. And might we do it just for the sake of being present? You know, everyone in their own time, no guarantee on what's going to happen when, what we're going to get from this experience. Just the pure joy and gift of being present, just breathing with ourselves, breathing together with humans. And then if you'd like to build on participating in our daily lung exercise together, I encourage you to breathe slowly, emptying the breath from the underbelly. Breathe in. Retain. Breathe out. Retain. 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 Release the lock of the underbelly, letting the breath go, letting the breath flow. Move the body freely. Explore yourself in this moment in time as the body moves around. Right? allowing yourself to be fully rooted in your reality. There's nowhere else you need to be. There's nothing you need to get. There's no guarantee that you're going to get it anyway, right? So just, if you're doing this work of awareness, this work of being present, do it simply for the pure joy of it, right? At some point, blossom will occur. Growth will most definitely occur. It is our birthright. Right? Evolution and growth, transformation. It's all our birthright, guys. But let's allow it to happen naturally. Let it usher through us very individually, very patiently. Everyone in their own time. Slowly bring the hands together at the center of the heart, honoring this sweet, precious time of humans coming together to just get real for a few minutes, right? Just get real. Even asking yourself, what is real, right? Dissolving the complication and going to the most simple. May we continue to nurture and attend to ourselves as humans during this great time of crisis and turmoil. But may we also very compassionately and understand that as we tend to ourselves, there's no specific result that will occur. There's no guarantee. So we do it just for the sake of doing it in the moment. Breathe in. Namaste. Have the best day you can have today, right? I think that's reasonable, right? Have the best day that you can have today. You know, one of the ways to have a best day, a good day, is to be connected, to be tapped in, right? To be present. Look around and let nature teach you, right? It's often pretty, but not always, right? But these are the lessons, right, that we learn as humans because we are natural creatures, right? Why do we, spend so much time resisting the fact that we're natural beings, right? Everyone in their own time, no guarantee. But certainly worth it to be present, right? In the moment. That gift. So I'm here now with you, holding space every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon. I encourage you, Tuesday, Thursdays at noon, to show up to Zoom. Very gentle practice that involves just subtle movement, breath work, and this kind of centering work that we've been doing together today. So I'm loving this time of cracking the mold open on the Western concept of what yoga is, right? Yoga is just simply having a relationship to your reality, union to your reality, right? So I hope this was time well spent for you. We'll seal it up, we'll send it out. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you live with an easy heart. Namaste.